Are you someone who's described as a midlife person, maybe in your 30s, 40s, or even your 50s, maybe a little bit older? And have you ever had the pull to start something? Maybe it's a YouTube channel, a podcast, TikTok, or Instagram account, and you quickly have a ton of excitement that gets immediately overshadowed by starting to talk yourself out of it. Like, what are people gonna think? What if I look stupid? Maybe I look too old. No one's gonna watch this old man or woman on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or wherever you wanna create content. Yeah, that right there, that's the moment most people never even get past. That's the moment where their creative journey starts and ends. Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. If you're new here, my name is Shellda and I host a podcast designed for creators, and I'm also helping document more of a raw, vulnerable look into what it's like to be a creator. So if you found this video, you're probably in your midlife. I would assume probably your 30s, 40s, 50s. And if you resonated with any of what I just mentioned at the start of this, you're not alone. I not only struggle with those thoughts when I started, to this day, I still struggle with it. Even hitting 5,000 subscribers and having an award-winning photography business, I still struggle with it. And I can't tell you how many times I've had that same exact conversation in my own head. I'll be scrolling on Instagram or TikTok and watching other creators live their best life, putting themselves out there. And I think to myself, man, that looks so cool. I wish I could do that. They look confident. They know what they're doing. They're comfortable on camera. Their what seems to be boring life looks pretty epic. And then when I think about starting out myself, that's where everything changes. It's almost like this freeze happens when you press record. Your mind just goes completely blank. And that's when the self-doubt creeps in, the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we've crafted in our mind, that's when all that creeps in. And that's when fear creeps in. Fear is every creator's worst nightmare. All of a sudden, that internal dialogue starts to become, you're too old for this. You should have started this 10 years ago when you were in your prime. People are going to judge you. What are your friends going to think about it? And then the unthinkable. What if your coworkers actually find your channel? Like, let's think about that for a minute. What if your coworkers actually found your YouTube channel? What would they say about it? Would they make fun of you? That's like a first impression that you can never get back. So instead of starting, we hesitate, we overthink, and eventually we just don't even do it at all. We talk ourselves out of it, and then the creativity tank that we have, it starts to run empty. And then here's the part that took me way too long to realize. The people that you're watching, the content creators online, they're not fearless. They just didn't stop in that moment when fear kicked in. Here's the crazy thing. Actually, let me grab something. Hang on one second. Over the last 4 years, I built a photography business, an award-winning photography business where I won Photographer of the Year 3 years in a row. So when I'm at events taking photos behind the camera, I am never scared to do it. I put myself in random awkward situations just to capture that moment. But when I actually turn the camera on myself and I'm looking at the lens or looking at the lens here and I see the flashing red light from the record button, I just freeze up, especially when I'm outside of my safe studio. And what I always thought that was fear kicking in and taking over. But I've learned something over the last few years when I was on the top of the photography mountain. The first time that I ever stepped on the professional paintball field, I was scared out of my mind. I think I had anxiety. I probably had a little panic attack. I held my breath the whole entire time, and I just couldn't wait to get back off of that field because I was so worried that I looked like an idiot, that everyone was looking at me. So after that weekend and going back and reflecting on it, that taught me something so special. It was an incredible life lesson that starting something in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or even older, it's really scary. You've got so much more responsibility now in your life. More people are watching you. There's more to lose, or at least it feels like it in that way. Maybe it's fear of what your family's going to think, what your kids will think, or what if your neighbors see you out in public talking to a camera? What will they think? And let's be honest, it feels a lot easier to sit back and watch someone else do it than to put yourself out there and risk being judged. Most people watching this video, me included, we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of sitting on our couch, maybe sitting on our desk, laying in bed, and we're just doom scrolling, watching other creators live their best life. Speaking of watching other creators, if you made it this far in the video, 1, thank you. That means a lot. And 2, if you're new here, take a moment and hit that subscribe button. You know, I had this light bulb moment today. What if fear isn't the actual problem? What if in that moment where you start to overthink everything, maybe it's that actual moment that you're supposed to push through? Like maybe that's the breaking point. Because the difference between people who do this and the people who don't, it's not talent, it's not age, and it's not even confidence. It's that they just started anyway. They had that thought of fear if they had it and they pushed through. They never waited to feel ready. They never waited to feel confident. They just went up and simply pressed record and started. And yeah, their first videos probably weren't that great. They were probably awkward, unpolished, maybe a little even cringy with some of the cheesy edits, and maybe the audio levels were all over the place, just like yours were going to be. And just like how mine were when I started 30 or 40 videos ago. Hey everybody, my name is Shellda and welcome to my studio and my first official YouTube video. I think we're ready to share this news. Some of you follow me on social media, and I'm here to tell you that's okay. That's actually part of the journey. That's a normal part of the human process when we create anything. It's starting something new. It's always gonna feel weird. Let me give you a quick example. My wife and I went to a new restaurant here in Austin, Texas today called Mexican Sugar. You would think it's the perfect place to vlog, create content, or document this new experience. People in Austin, they love new restaurants. They love to see the food. They love to hear about it. But when I walked into that restaurant, I was overcome with fear and worry that everyone would be staring at me if I pulled my camera out and started to record. In fact, they were so busy, there was a 2-hour wait just to get into the restaurant if you didn't have a reservation. So unfortunately, the only clips that I got are the ones that you're seeing on screen. And like clockwork, as soon as I got home, I wished I could have gone back and had the confidence to turn the camera on, turn it around, and capture more of that moment. I know, crazy, right? An award-winning content creator, and here I am freezing up with a camera in my hand. So I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. No matter where you are in your creative journey, whether you're just starting, you've got a few videos in, maybe you've got a few thousand subscribers, or maybe you've got 100,000 or 1,000,000 subscribers. You're not alone in this process. Because if you're like me and you're sitting there right now thinking about starting something, but you keep stopping yourself, I'm here to tell you, you don't need more time. You don't need better gear. You don't need better cameras. You don't need better lighting. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to get past that one moment where you almost quit. That one moment where fear is about to take over. That one moment before you even begin something that kills everything. Because 5 years from now, you're either going to be glad you pushed through that fear, and maybe you're going to be even holding up a YouTube 100,000 subscriber plaque, or you're going to be in the exact place that you are today. Still thinking about it, still wishing you did something about it, and still doom scrolling watching other creators go after what they want. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Start anyways. Okay, thanks for dropping by the studio. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.